We begin this afternoon with breaking news. Moments ago, Israel confirming that the leader of Hamas and October 7th mastermind Yahya Sinwar is dead.
We have CNN's Jeremy Diamond and Alex Marquardt with the latest. Let's first go to Jeremy in Jerusalem for us. Tell us what you know about the confirmation, Jeremy.
Well, Boris, this is an earth-shattering announcement from the Israeli military confirming that Yahya Sinwar, Hamas's leader, the mastermind of the October 7th attacks, has indeed been killed by the Israeli military in Gaza. His body has now been brought back to Israel, and the DNA testing confirming beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was indeed Sinwar. The Israeli military is also providing new details about how and when he was killed, saying that he was actually killed yesterday during military operations in the Gaza Strip. And we have learned, of course, from our sources as well, that this was not an intelligence-driven special operation that resulted in Sinwar being killed. Instead, it appears that infantry soldiers came upon a group of 3 militants in Gaza and fired a tank shell at them. And ultimately, when they went and found the bodies in the rubble, they realized that one of them resembled Yahya Sinwar. That then triggered a set of alarm bells in senior ranks of the Israeli military and the Israeli government, and ultimately triggering the confirmation that it was indeed him. There was initially confirmation via dental records, and that was followed up by multiple DNA tests that ultimately gave the Israeli government and its military the confirmation to a confidence level necessary to be able to now announce this publicly. They are also saying that it was soldiers in Israel's 828th Brigade, that is an infantry brigade responsible actually for training other infantry soldiers, that was operating in Gaza.
The operation was executed during a period of heightened tensions between Israel and Hamas, following several skirmishes along the Gaza-Israel border. Israeli intelligence reportedly tracked Sinwar's movements before launching the attack, showcasing a high level of The operation involved airstrikes and possibly ground forces, with precise targeting aimed at minimizing civilian casualties while achieving the objective of eliminating Sinwar. The Israeli government characterized the operation as a necessary action to ensure national security, claiming that Sinwar posed a direct threat to Israeli citizens due to his role in orchestrating attacks against Israel. Hamas condemned the killing as an act of aggression and vowed retaliation, setting the stage for potential escalation in violence.
Successfully killed Sinwar. We are already seeing in Gaza a mixed reaction from the population there, some expressing sadness and shock at his death, but others very much celebrating it and hoping that Sinwar's death will accelerate the end of the war in Gaza. And that is indeed now the question, whether or not Sinwar's killing gives the Israeli Prime Minister the opportunity to present a picture of victory in Israel, to be able to move towards ending the war and perhaps even reaching a deal to free the hostages.
Various nations and organizations have expressed differing views on the operation. Some support Israel's right to defend itself, while others criticize the targeted killing as exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Human rights organizations have raised concerns about the legality of the operation and its implications for civilians, as such targeted killings can lead to increased civilian casualties and suffering in conflict zones. In response to Sinwar's killing, Hamas may launch retaliatory attacks against Israel, potentially leading to a cycle of violence. This could manifest in rocket fire from Gaza into Israeli territory, prompting Israeli airstrikes in retaliation. The situation could escalate into a larger military confrontation, reminiscent of past conflicts between Israel and Hamas. particularly if civilian casualties occur.
As well, but so much uncertainty about who might succeed Yahya Sinwar at this point, whether or not there is an immediate successor, or whether instead we will see chaos in Hamas's ranks. But without a doubt, this is an enormous moment in this region, just over a year after Sinwar launched this October 7th attack that then triggered this deadly, deadly war in Gaza. The Israeli military now confirming that Yahya Sinwar has been killed.
Jeremy, thank you. And we should say that CNN has now obtained, and I do want to warn our viewers, this is a graphic image, just so you have a chance to turn away if you need to here. CNN has obtained a verified picture of Sinwar's body. You can see the face there blurred out, which certainly does spare some of the graphic nature, I will say, of this photo. But this is a picture of that rubble that Jeremy was describing, where the infantry fired a shell at this building, and in this collapse found bodies of militants, including one that resembled Sinwar and was later verified to be Sinwar. Alex Marquardt, bringing you into this, tell us more.
During retaliatory strikes, Sinwar's death could lead to a power struggle within Hamas, as factions vie for leadership. This could either destabilize the organization or potentially strengthen hardliners seeking to retaliate against Israel. Alternatively, a new leader may adopt a different approach towards Israel, which could lead to shifts in Hamas's military strategy or political stance. The operation may bolster the Israeli government's standing domestically, particularly among right-wing constituents who support aggressive action against Hamas. Conversely, if the situation deteriorates into a broader conflict, it could lead to public dissent regarding the government's handling of security and foreign policy. Increased military activity could worsen the humanitarian situation in Gaza, where civilian infrastructure has already been severely impacted by previous conflicts.
About Sinwar, who has not been seen since the war began more than a year ago, was thought to have been constantly on the move.
I just think it's remarkable how this all unfolded. We've seen these huge operations to go after other Hamas leaders or to try to rescue Israeli hostages. This seemed like it was luck that they stumbled across Sinwar, not in a tunnel, not surrounded by hostages as we thought he was, according to U.S. and intelligence officials. He was out in the open with only two others. We believe that photo is remarkable, and it really speaks to how this unfolded, in that they didn't know immediately that this was Yahya Sinwar. So from what we understand, they fired that tank shell into the building, but it was only today with a drone that they started getting indications that this could be him, and went in to look, and then were able to confirm through DNA testing that this was indeed him. I've seen that image and other images. I can tell you that while they're very, very gory, it was immediately apparent that this was very, very likely Sinwar. You could tell that he had a strong resemblance to all the photos that we have seen with Sinwar. But again, just remarkable to see that this unfolded. We believe in the southern part of the Gaza Strip, and that was the belief, that he was in or around Khan Yunis, where he's from, in a tunnel, possibly surrounded by hostages. He may have been farther south than that, and he was moving around with a relatively light footprint. In moving with just two other people, he wouldn't there wouldn't have been a lot of attention. It would have been far less easy to spot. But the U.S. has been helping with the intelligence to try to hunt him down, to try to find him, and he has been very, very careful. It's believed that he was not using electronic devices. It's believed that he was spending most of his time underground. And what appears to have happened now is that the Israeli military came upon him and managed to eliminate the most wanted man that Israel has been chasing for the past year.
Potentially with huge ramifications for this conflict. Alex, Jeremy, please stand by. We should let you know that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is...
National humanitarian organizations may call for increased aid and support for civilians affected by the violence, further complicating the political landscape. The killing of Sinwar could affect the broader dynamics of Israeli-Palestinian relations and the regional balance of power. other militant groups in the region, like Hezbollah or Islamic Jihad, might react by increasing their support for Hamas or conducting their own operations against Israel. It could also impact ongoing peace negotiations or initiatives, as the cycle of violence may make it more challenging to achieve a diplomatic. The killing of Yahya Sinwar by Israeli military forces is a significant development with far-reaching implications for both Israel and the Palestinian territories. While the immediate goal may have been to neutralize a key threat, the potential for escalating violence and humanitarian crises raises concerns about the stability of the region. Observers will be closely monitoring the situation to see how Hamas responds and what this means for the future of Israeli-Palestinian relations.
Set to speak in just moments. This, as demonstrators are now, we understand, at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv, demonstrating and reacting to this news. We'll, of course, bring you Netanyahu's remarks as they happen. I want to expand the conversation now with retired Naval Commander Kirk Lippold. Also with us is Barak Ravid. He's a CNN political and global affairs analyst. Barak, first to you, what are you learning about the process of confirming Sinwar's death and how he was killed?
Well, the process was made by both the Israeli police, their forensics team, and pathologists who examined Sinwar's body. And there were 3 different tests. One was to examine the photographs of Sinwar's teeth, then a fingerprint test, and then a DNA test. And just minutes ago, all 3 were confirmed, and the Israelis announced that it was indeed Sinwar.
And Commander, we've been talking about what this means then. According to our reporting, U.S. officials have long looked at Sinwar's death as one of the best chances of this war coming to an end. How do you see it?
I think it's great news. Number one, I would say that timing in life is everything, which in reality, when you look at, you've got a training battalion versus frontline special operators, and yet the training battalion is the one that caught him in the open and killed him, really speaks to the readiness across the entire Israeli Defense Force, which means they are prepared, they are at war, and they're ready to react on a moment's notice to hunt down and kill these terrorists no matter where they are, from the top-level leadership like Sinwar down to the regular foot soldiers that continue to this fight. I think the next step you're going to see happen is this is where the Israeli intelligence is really going to kick in, because what you're going to see is not only did they catch him out in the open, but then the real question is, where did he come from and where was he headed to that he would have such a light footprint out in the open trying to avoid things, when in fact everything we have learned would indicate that he had surrounded himself by those hostages as a kind of human shield and protection. That's not there, so now we have to look beyond the immediate death of Sinwar.
Yeah, those are all good questions. I do wonder, Barak, internally from the Israeli perspective, clearly, U.S. officials may be, I'd say, a little bit hopefully looking at this as an opportunity. Is that how it's viewed internally in Israel, that this could lead to a better chance at a hostage ceasefire deal?
Definitely. And what I hear from Prime Minister Netanyahu's closest aides is that they say that now a window of opportunity is open for either getting more hostages out in the military operation because, Hamas is in disarray, or now using this blow that Hamas suffered to get the hostage deal that has been sort of in the freezer for the last 2 months. And one of Netanyahu's aides told me that the prime minister's main focus right now is hostages, 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 and he's going to try and push for some sort of a both deal or military operation to get them out.